don't stop. Grind 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 don't stop.
Hello!
Grind don't stop.
Welcome back to Chewed Gum. Today is
Don't stop.
Tuesday, February 25th, Tuesday, as we like to say. My name is Alyssa, and we have Promise / Eve on today, looking gorgeous as ever.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
you-
Not so bad yourself.
I love you.
I love you.
And you can call us. We're in so much love. Okay. You could call us at 720-619-2288, and we could talk about purity culture things. We could talk about deconstructing things, atheist things, theist things, sex things. All the things, I don't know, all the things. And as a reminder, super chats of $5 or more will be read at the end of the show. How are we today, Promise?
We are here. I'm hoping that I'm not coming down with something terrible because moments before starting this episode, my husband was stricken with what could possibly be the flu, something not good. And I'm such a what do they call it when you're afraid of getting sick? I don't know how I've lost this out of my head because
Germaphobe or
No,
there's another word.
anyways, I actually have health anxiety, so that doesn't help. But
Yeah.
I am now at the point where like I just keep feeling these sharp pains in my throat, and I'm like, oh, that's it. It's coming for me next.
Yeah.
Totally making it up, but that's what I'm going to be feeling in my head the whole time. How are you doing?
Oh god. I'm good. Oh yeah, hypochondriac. That's the word. Thank you, chat.
Yes, exactly that. Thank you.
That's the word. I'm good. I'm getting over my little sinus infection, so I'm finally feeling better. And I don't know. Okay, I love to give this chat like unnecessary information about my dating life. Like I feel like that's a pattern that I've created
We're
now.
gonna spill the
So like
beans.
that's what I do. Yeah. So I met someone and we have the same opinions on everything. Like our brains are the same. Promise it's getting weirder and weirder. Like
Ugh,
every time we have
it makes me
conversations,
so
I'm like, this
happy.
it's crazy. And we FaceTimed for a total of 5 hours yesterday. 5 hours.
This is
It's
precious.
crazy.
Does this person know about this show?
Yes. He hasn't watched it yet, so if this is the one that he watches, although like,
Whatever.
whatever.
Life is short.
At this point,
YOLO.
yeah. So at this point, like, yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. I'm at like a YOLO point in all of it. I'm wearing one of my best friend's merch. How funny is this?
Love that.
Hilarious. So
I
fun.
love that so much.
So anyway, as
That's
usual,
so exciting. That's such a fun feeling when you have somebody that you're enjoying talking to and where the conversation every time you're just like, oh my God, me too. Yes, this, yes, that,
literally. It's
so
like
nice.
almost to a point where I'm like, is someone feeding you information about me? Like, this is crazy. It just makes no sense, but it's cool. And it's nice to also like, I don't know. It's just nice. And I'm having a really good time. So I'm going
I
to try and
love
be
it.
chill about it.
Don't be
But
chill.
I have no chill.
You're like,
I
I'm
can't even
sweating.
be worried about that. Literally. I can't even be worried about that. That's such like a fake concern because I have zero chill at all times. Obviously, because I'm just going to share this with the hundreds of people that are here,
Yeah.
which
I
I
mean-
insist are my friends.
I love when we were voice messaging back and forth the other day and you were telling me about
Yeah.
how you're trying to like be chill. And I was like, you're talking to the person that has married everyone she's dated. So I am not going to encourage chillness, obviously.
That was one of my favorite things you've ever said to me. I was like, I feel like every time I talk to someone, it's like a big production. It's such a thing. And you were like, so here's the thing. I've literally married every person.
Talk about making
Oh
a
my
big
God.
deal out of something. Oh.
Right. And also, per chat's request, happy to confirm he does have a chin. And
A
not
really nice
closeted MAGA. Great chin. And not closeted Trump supporter. So that's good.
Bonus points, I guess. Also, that's like bare minimum bonus points, I guess.
Right.
I love that for you
Right.
so much. I had an idea before we start taking calls for super chat prompt. Also, I just want to let everybody know I haven't forgotten about our playlist. I actually started working on it. I got interrupted and still need to finish it. That's happening. I have ideas for other playlist prompts, but tonight I had a different super chat prompt. So $5 or more, we'll read those at the end of the show. And I want to hear what your favorite life hack is because I just love life hacks. Like, like you put a penny on a cup of ice in the freezer before you go to town. And then if the power goes out or if your stuff melted, those kinds of little things, I want to know everybody else's life hacks. Do you have any life hacks off the top of your head?
I don't know. I do like the one where if you get like mascara on your face, like not like anywhere else that's not your eyelashes, if you let it dry and use a spoolie or like a eyebrow brush, you can just scrape it off. But you just have to not touch it while it's wet.
You're kidding me. Wait,
yeah,
where did
don't
I
touch
had
it while it's wet?
Here. Oh, okay. You're talking like this thing. Like if I take this and
Yes. Yeah. If you wait for it to fully dry, it'll just flake right off.
Well, that's going to change my life.
That's a good one.
Does it mess up the eyeshadow underneath it?
If you do it very gently, it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Okay. Can't wait.
That's a good one.
This is why I asked. Because I know everybody in chat has amazing life hacks to share as well. So
yeah, I love a life hack. I love a life hack. Even when it's life hack for your I don't know. So the foundation of your home. I don't know what life hack that could possibly be. And I'm sad.
I was about to say, wow, what is this?
Yeah, and I'm sad. Don't own a home. Know nothing about foundations of houses. It doesn't actually matter. I just want to know what the life hack is.
That's how I feel.
So,
well, this is going to be fantastic.
Do you have any good life hacks? Yeah.
I mean, they've all
penny
left my mind
on ice
now.
is good.
Yeah, I know that one. I mean, I know a lot of. They're not going to come to my mind right now, but in a moment, I know a lot of different. I was a nanny, so all the kid things. I know how to get every stain out of clothing. I know, a really great trick for kids. It's like a psychological hack. I don't know what you call this. There are studies behind it. But if you tell a kid, I'm talking toddler, if you tell them that you're going to close your eyes while they do something, they're way more likely to do it. So for example, if you need them to get their PJs on, then you would say like, okay, I'm going to close my eyes. I wonder if so-and-so will have their PJs on when I open my eyes. And it works. It works so well.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any hack I found that works so well with toddlers. And you can peek and monitor the situation, but it makes them feel like they have autonomy over themselves. And so they're choosing to do the thing. And then you can be proud of them like, oh, look, you did it. That's great. And just you opening your eyes and acknowledging that they did it is positive reinforcement enough that they want to continue doing that moving forward.
That's good.
I will say I was closing my eyes a lot as a nanny. I would walk in and be like, cool, I'm going to close my eyes and see if everybody does everything I need them to do today. But it works. So
I love that.
For those with toddlers, there's a little hack for you. Shall we get to our first caller?
Yes, before we do, I want to just say quickly, Mystic Mind Analysis Tavern. Happy birthday.
Oh,
they're
happy
officially
birthday.
36 years old. Happy birthday. I hope you had a wonderful day, and thank you for being here on your birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday.
All right. Let's do some calls. What do we got? Let's see. Also, someone in the chat said that I have a face like I'm going to try that on someone I date. That's so funny. Don't stop liking me. Don't stop liking me. I'm going to go.
Let's see when I open my eyes if you still like me.
Let's see. Like, literally. Fucking hell. Okay.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Do you have a preference of the two?
I don't. I'm good with whichever. Although one of those, my response is going to be, at the beginning, I'm going to go and let them know I don't really care. Well, I don't understand what that is, actually. So really, I don't know. So I don't care. Either one is fine. Now that I'm reading it, I don't really understand what's being said here.
Okay, let's pull David in because he's been waiting a little longer. That's usually an easy way to decide. Hi, David.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. Can't complain too much. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for
what
calling
did you
in.
Want to talk to us about tonight?
Yeah. So I had a conversation with my mom. I live, 2,500 miles away from her, so I call her every weekend to or from a gig. And I had a big, long talk with her. I'm definitely leaning on the liberal side of things, and she definitely leans on the conservative side of things. So we had a big, long talk. She was just kind of going on about some stuff, and I really felt like it was an opportunity for me to maybe defend some of the stuff that she made her uncomfortable, as far as, my point being the call is I'd like to be a better ally, and I don't think that call went as well as it perhaps could have been. She's not a person who I think is so stuck in her ways. She's a very open person, and she's a grade A listener. And I think she respects of what my side of things are. Certainly I live in California, big giant liberal bubble down in the LA area. So I don't know, I'm just used to just not having to defend a lot of this stuff, and just the way America is kind of going at the moment. I feel like I could be better. And so I'm just calling to either get some advice or just maybe talk through some of the stuff even I'm uncomfortable with, whether I'm uncomfortable with, I just don't feel like I'm equipped to talk about it because I'm not an expert, or I'm not knowledgeable enough. It's all coming from an ignorance kind of place, or I'm just genuinely uncomfortable with it as well. I grew up conservative, so I still have, I feel like, the dark part of my brain that I'm trying to get rid of. But yeah, I don't know. It's up to you guys. I mean, we can kind of take this wherever. It's your show. I'm just here.
I'm just here.
Great. Thanks for that. I think a lot of people have questions like that. Go ahead, Alyssa.
Well, yeah, a lot of people have questions like that, and also this show would not exist if people like you didn't call. So it is our show, and we're happy that you called. So is the question how can you continue to be a better ally to your mom, or to in conversation with your mom? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, no, I could have been clearer about that. Yeah, a better ally to, like, I don't know, marginalized people, communities in
Yeah.
general, I suppose.
I think really kind of the best you can do is offer information that maybe your mom didn't see. Like, I think approaching from a place of curiosity and encouraging her to do the same, so that you can just share information without a lot of judgment flying around
Mm.
is kind of your best bet, I think. Promise, what do you think?
Yeah, I think when it comes to stuff like this, so for me, the biggest thing that helped with learning how to kind of be, I guess an ally is a good way to say it, or activist, is to be really secure in my own positions. In that the opinions I have formed, I've tried to be very informed about them and know what I'm talking about, why I hold that opinion, um, or hold that opinion loosely if I don't know enough to say, okay, well, I've landed here about it, but I'm open to hearing other thoughts and opinions. So that's number one. When I'm secure with where I'm at, then I can have a conversation with anybody about it because I'm fine hearing new information, and I hope to bring information myself to the conversation. So I would start with making sure you're really educated on what you're speaking about when it comes to you sharing your opinions. However, when it comes to family, I know that sometimes it's the closest person there that we can be like, here, this is actually what you should be believing instead. But oftentimes that's the worst approach because they're family. And I think a more street epistemology approach is better. I don't know if you've heard of Anthony Magnabosco, but he has his YouTube channel. I think it's called Street Epistemology. Amazing, where you more approach things out of curiosity and asking a lot of questions. And what you're doing is you're really just helping that person figure out why they believe what they believe, and if it's aligning with their values, and if it's consistent. And it sounds like you and your mom probably still have some shared values, I would think, or else you wouldn't be wanting to call her and stay connected in that way. And I would think the curiosity approach, it's not going to give you instant results to where she's like, well, you've convinced me and now I'm going to think like you. It's going to help her think about, like, well, why do I hold this opinion about this? Because you're asking questions of basically, so why do you think that? Or what brought you to that point? And which value is it that you hold here, and all of that. So that would be my advice there. And to not feel like you have to, every time she says something, be like, well, that's wrong. Well, that's wrong. Not saying I have no idea how you're handling these conversations, but I do think some people get caught up in that instead of approaching it with, well, that's interesting. Personally, I see it this way. I'm interested to see why you see it that way. Now, if somebody says something extremely bigoted, racist, sexist, something like that, I am quick to point it out, but I try even then to approach it with curiosity. Like, I'm not sure I understand like what joke you were trying to make here. Can you explain to me, still approaching it with curiosity? Or why would you say that about that person? Can you explain to me why you think that way? Because to me, it sounds really hurtful, or it sounds blah, blah, blah. Kind of being a reflection back at them. And to me, that tends to work really well on people that have some solid core values as a person, even if their beliefs aren't so great, because maybe they just haven't aligned those yet.
Yeah, that's really great. I think I'm kind of stuck on the part where it's like I need to be super sure about how I feel about things, because I don't think I'm as read as perhaps I should be. And not that we have to like spend this call ironing out every single thing I don't know. That would be a deep forever. But yeah, I don't know. There are just certain topics that came up that I was like, oh, I could totally feel this. Like, I know what this is like. And then there's certain stuff that she would bring up that I guess was like being fed on this end, on like the liberal end, liberal media, liberal whatever. And then you hear the other side. And that also feels like something problematic, specifically with like, when I say trans people, I would say not rights. I know what the rights and everything that they have should be having, or currently losing.
You're talking about specifically how to argue stuff back when people present arguments against trans people. So I will tell you, Transatlantic is doing 2 shows this week. They have the Transatlantic Call-In show. They're amazing for resources for those kinds of conversations specifically, and they're going to offer you way more on that than Alyssa and I can. So I highly recommend learning and listening from trans people themselves. And it's also okay, because I've been there with with different topics before years ago, where I would say I'm not sure yet what my response is to this rebuttal you've come at me with. But I'm just going to tell you, something about it isn't clicking with me, with the values that I hold. And so I appreciate you bringing something to my attention. Let me go look into this and think about it and see if either I've been wrong on something or there's some misinformation or what's going on. Like, that's okay too, to be fully honest and still say, like, I know this much, but you have introduced something to me that I don't know what to respond with. A lot of times what I found in conversations about trans people is the arguments that are being presented against them are misinformation, outright lies, that kind of stuff. And so you do have to kind of step back and be like, well, let me go see if this is a real thing or not. So that's why I'm referring you to the Transatlantic show. I actually think this would be a great call for them as well.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like. I've actually never tuned in to that part of the live. Is it, what, do you know when it'll be?
Yeah, it's on Thursdays. You're helping me get to my announcements already. Okay. This is great. It's on Thursdays at 2, and I can tell you who's hosting this week too. Let me see. Sorry. Let me just pull up my handy dandy thing here from our amazing producer. So TACIS is 2:00 Central Time here on the line, and that's going to be Arden and Luxander. Arden is one of my dear friends. I love her so much. She's amazing. I highly recommend that you call, because I think it'll be a great conversation. And just tell them, just say, look, I'm looking to be a better ally. I'm new to all of this. I know where I'm at, but I need to figure out how to communicate that clearly, or how to deal with some of these, arguments. And I think they'll offer you some really great points there and resources. Alyssa, anything you have to add to that?
I think just in general, people will respond more positively to you coming at this conversation with curiosity, and also with honesty and being genuine. Like, when people say things where you're like, I know, like, this happens like occasionally, even when we have these conversations, especially in the beginning. Like, now people argue the same points over and over, and so now I feel like we're kind of like a well-oiled machine with some topics. But the way that you learn how to have those conversations is by having them, and by saying, I actually don't know a lot about that, but I like Promise said, it doesn't totally sit right with me, so I feel like I want to look into that. But I'll look into it, and then we can pick up this conversation another time. Because ultimately, those conversations, like, if you have a conversation with someone, then you make them feel like what they've actually shared with you is being heard. Like, you heard it, you weren't immediately disregarding it because you're like, fuck your opinion. Instead, you were like, I actually don't know a lot about that, but I'm going to find out. And then we could circle back. You circling back gives you the opportunity to actually have that conversation, which is so much more impactful than getting into a screaming match or like having it be awkward and contentious. Like, having the conversation is the goal. And so if you are able to say, actually, do you have a couple minutes? I'm going to fact check that, or whatever. Or I don't, maybe not say fact check that. That might be like a little bit, I don't know. But you can say, like, let's Google this together or something. Coming from an angle of curiosity and being genuine in trying to find the truth and meaning in things will get you really far.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like I said, like, my mom's like, not someone who's like super stuck in her ways either. There's just, I think she also approaches things with curiosity, and just, I think also, I don't know, and my sister's the same way too. It's just like me, and their relationship is the same way. Like, I just starting to hear them ask questions about stuff, or just bring it up more. And I'm like happy that that's happening, because they live in like red. area. I won't say the state, but it's when I go home to visit, it's like I'm not in Kansas anymore. I mean, it's very, it's very jarring, I would say. But yeah, I think, what do I do though when I'm kind of agree with some? So, for instance, like topic would come up about like trans people and trans women and women's sports. Like I'm uncomfortable with that, and I know it's probably more out of like an ignorance thing. But like I would agree that like there has to be some competitive advantage or disadvantage or something. And
Arden and
I don't.
No, Arden and Luxembourg, they know all of their shit about this. They talk about it every week. So I'm again going to recommend, I think that's who you should call and speak to trans people who are
watch old episodes too.
Yeah, they've covered this so many times. And so I think that's what I would encourage you to do, because we could have this conversation, but I would much rather give you the opportunity to speak with trans people themselves and for them to talk about something way better than I will. They're more informed on it. And I hate sports and I'm not trans. So both of those things combined make me not a great person to talk about it, because personally I would ban all sports for everyone. So that's not helpful.
But I feel like
I do think you should call them on that.
Yeah, and like if you scroll through, I'm sure it's also been clipped too. So like you could probably scroll through the line like videos and probably even find a clip that's exactly that call. But on most of our shows, someone will put timestamps for when, like, what the topic of each call is. And that helps you like sort through it also. So I would take a look for specifically that conversation. I think you should take a look into it because there is a lot of information about that topic, about trans people and playing sports and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would take a look, because it's also like it's also a good opportunity for you to be curious too.
Right? Yeah. Isn't it fun?
Yeah. It never ends.
Never ends.
David, is there anything else before we move on to the next caller?
No, I think, no, it's been really great. Thank you for taking, I know we didn't really like talk about any of this stuff, but it's been nice to like, I don't know, get permission, I guess, to be more curious about it. Also, I just wanted to say, like, I'm not like like trans people exist. They are what they say. Like, none of that is, it's just my own, ignorance as far as like what should be done, could be done with some stuff that I'm just uncomfortable with. Just uncomfortable with. Just a feeling. I don't have any of that. I don't think that there should be any, like laws or anything put out there because I feel a certain way, or ananybody should. But
I think they'll learn more. I think that's great that you're able to recognize those different things you're feeling. And if all that came out of this call is you learned about the Transatlantic Call-In Show, I think that's great. I think you're going to love it. I highly recommend calling and speaking with Arden too. And Luxembourg. I think that'll be a cool conversation. So thanks so much, David. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye, guys.
Bye, David.
That makes it easy for me to now remember to do announcements. And
yes.
I don't know if it's just me, but now I'm starting to feel a little bit hoarse. Like I'm losing my voice.
No!
So that's exciting. I also was singing just before doing this because we were writing a song, but hopefully it's just that. Okay, let's see. I don't even know what day it is. Tomorrow we have the Hang Up, 6:00 Central Time with Matt Dillahunty and J Mike. I will try to watch that if I'm stuck at home sick. And then TACIS, like we said, on Thursday, 2 p.m. with Arden and Luxembourg. And then I don't know if I'm supposed to say the Cus I Wanna thing. Morgan, do we know what time that will be? And did you say that was Friday?
I believe it's 6:00, but I'll look it up.
The voice of God right there. Thank you, Morgan. Okay, cool. So Friday night, we'll have a Cus I Wanna. And then that brings us to We Don't Know Yet. So all of those things are to be announced, but we will have the Sunday show on Sunday, of course, and then the Sunday show after dark in the evening, which brings us all the way to next Monday which will be Skeptalk. Again, hosts TBA, I don't know which. And then Tuesday, it's Chewed Gum, which, will you be here?
I'll be here.
Alyssa? Okay, I think I'm 50-50, so we'll find
Okay.
out. But Alyssa will be
Okay.
here if nothing else.
Yes,
And that's
I
our
will.
announcements. And just a reminder, Super Chats, $5 or more. If you weren't here in the beginning, I am being selfish and using this as a moment to ask for all of your life hacks because I love life hacks and I can't wait to hear them.
Yes.
Maybe we can look up
Life
some cool
hacks?
life hacks too.
Life hacks benefit everyone. So
Exactly.
share them.
And I already
that's a
learned a life-changing thing with your mascara removal thing.
It is
It's the
very
amount of
helpful.
times that I've like rubbed, had to redo because my top lashes hit my under eye. So if they're not
same.
dry yet, then I have to. It's a whole thing. Can't wait for this hack.
Yeah, we had a Bonnie cameo and then she went away. So Bonnie, she's been liking to sit in my lap. So
cute.
The star of
6
the show,
p.m. on the
real
28th.
star. Oh,
Cuz I
there you
Wanna,
go.
6 p.m. Friday.
Amazing. Okay, shall we take Marvin?
Let's find out what this call is about.
All right. Talk. Okay. Marvin, you are live.
Hey, how are you two doing?
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty all right. Promise, I see you on my Instagram a whole lot, and I just want to say, nice finally talking to you.
Thanks for calling. What did you want to talk with us about tonight?
Well, I notice a lot of atheists online talk about they give criticisms to the Old Testament laws, and I just kind of want to give my rebuttal. So what are your criticisms with the laws given in the Old and New Testaments?
Here's the thing about the Bible. You would have to convince me to care about the Bible. I don't think that it's the word of any God, and so it's not so much about having criticisms, although I absolutely have those. It's just like it's not interesting for me debating your interpretation of the Bible versus mine versus Alyssa's because I don't think it's the inerrant word of God. I don't think it means anything to me. It's just as interesting to me as debating the Quran or debating, honestly, Harry Potter because I haven't, found that to be true either. So that's if you're wanting to call in to have like a scholarly debate about the Bible, unfortunately, you're probably going to be disappointed. There are other hosts that sometimes get into that, but most of us at the end of the day, we're atheists, not just like a Biblists. I don't know what you would call it. we don't believe in any God. So the Bible is just not that interesting. Paul Agia might be interested in a scholarly debate with you. I'm not sure. But if you want to talk about why I should care what the Bible says, we can do that.
Well, we can do that.
Okay, cool. So why do you think that we should care about what the Bible says?
Well, it's because why should we not?
So should I care what every book says equally? All books that have ever been written?
Well, yeah. Why not?
Really? I should care about all books that have ever been written equally. So I can think of some pretty terrible books that have been written that I can agree with you in that I should care about other people that are reading them and what they're doing with that information. But are you saying I should treat the Bible like I would treat a Spider-Man comic book equally?
Well, I'm not saying that per se. I'm definitely not saying that. That's just ridiculous, and I hear that a lot. And if I'm going to be honest with you, it's just not a good argument. It really isn't.
It's not an argument. That was a question, though.
You
she
can,
asked
but
you if you should care about books. But she also asked you if you should care about all books equally, and you said yes. You said yes, and so you kind of created that argument.
kind of like a paradox. Well,
I don't know.
well, it's really up for your interpretation, really. I'm not your dad. I'm just giving suggestions. But, you know.
Right, but you called the show, so I'm down to have a conversation. If you want to convince us why we should care what the Bible says, I could ask you this more pointed question. Do you believe in a God?
Why would I not? Everyone in my family does, myself included.
Also, I'm going to just stop you real quick. I love having conversations with theists, but I don't know if you've watched the show. What I don't like is when they answer questions like with more questions. I just want direct answers. So your answer would be yes, you do believe in a God. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm giving you the most straightforward answers you can ask for.
Awesome. Okay, so yes, you believe in a God. Which God do you believe in?
I think you're smart enough to figure it out.
I really don't know. We have people that believe in all kinds of gods, Colin. So you can answer the question or we can
This
move
guy
on. We got
isn't
another
for real.
caller. I'm giving him a chance. So which God do you believe in, Marvin?
I believe in the Lord who created all things.
Okay, and you mentioned the Bible when you called in. So is this the God of the Bible? You believe in the Christian God? Would you call yourself a Christian? Let's go there, I guess.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool. So why do you believe that this God exists?
Well, it's because, well, here we are.
I don't know what you mean by that.
You figure it out. I don't know.
If you're just calling Marvin, you called the show. So, and I think I'm remembering now your comments on Instagram because I think they want something like this. If you don't have answers for us, that's great. You can just say you have faith and then I can let you go off the call. But you called in the show. So do you want to actually have this conversation or should I let you go?
Hold on a second. Let me ask a question here.
Nope. This is our show. So do you want to answer my questions or do you want to end the phone call?
Okay. What's faith?
You tell me.
Define faith.
I don't use that word, so I don't need to define it because it's meaningless to me. So if you would like to tell me what faith is and if you have it or not, then we can go from there. But Marvin, you're already 5 minutes in. We've learned nothing. I can let you go or you can start engaging in this honestly.
Fine, I'll tell you what faith is. We all know faith is belief without evidence. We all know we theists never have evidence. Nothing can ever convince you.
Okay, Marvin, do you have evidence to convince us with or not? Because I'm done with this if you don't have anything.
Yeah, just go outside and look at the trees.
There we go. That's what I was waiting for. Marvin, why do you think the trees are evidence of your God?
Well, because they're here. How else did they get here?
Because a seed was planted into the ground, because it was carried through the air and fell on the ground, and then rain came, and then the seed grew into a plant, and then it grew into a tree. That's how it got here.
Oh, really? That's how trees? Dude, that's just a bunch of BS the government made up. We all know trees.
How trees grow?
We all know trees are being...
We got a bona fide troll here. Well, Marvin, I will let you get back to trolling.
I'm not trolling.
Either you're trolling or you are naturally making Christians look extremely unable to defend any kind of logic whatsoever when it comes to their beliefs. Either way, you're doing my job for me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'll let you get back to my Instagram comments where you can continue doing this. But you're not being serious. You're not treating this call seriously. And you haven't offered us anything real. So I'm going to let you go. And we're going to mark you on here as somebody who doesn't engage honestly or seriously in conversation. I can't tell which it is, but thank you, Marvin, not Margan. I was going to say Margan muted him, I think, but okay. The sad thing is
crazy.
I'm not 100,000,000% convinced that person is a troll because if I remember, I get thousands of comments a day, but if I remember correctly, this person was pretty serious in the comments and they wanted to talk about specifically about Old Testament stuff and how we should not, I don't know. Interesting. Anyways, look at the trees.
That was so
Did you see
crazy.
my
Look
meme
at the
about
trees.
It's
No,
because
I
it was on a
didn't.
meme.
Oh, yeah.
I made a meme.
I saw that.
I'll show it. I'll show it to
Yeah, please
everybody.
do.
I don't know if it's gonna
That was
work on the camera. It says,
I'm
it's not going to work. Look at how dirty my phone is. Anyways, it says, point of view, you just asked a theist about their evidence for their God's existence. And then they are pointing to a forest of trees. So thrilling.
I don't understand that. Anytime I've had a moment where I felt very connected to nature, my thought is always, it's amazing how much time and biodiversity and like every year around the spring, for some reason, I have this like very corny moment where I just think about how crazy nature is, that like it works so beautifully in tune so that in the spring it rains a lot so things can grow and the sun starts to come out and like the ground gets soft, like, but never once in that like moment of corniness do I think, and God did it. Like, why are you giving him all of the credit for how amazing nature is on its own?
Also, it's always look at the trees, and it's never look at poison ivy or like look at thorns or look at, all kinds of other issues. Poison oak. I don't know.
But it's also like we could say like, look at the iPhone, a feat of engineering. Humans created that. Also an amazing piece of technology. Also like something that is, or like skyscrapers, things that can be towering in the sky despite wind and rain and earthquakes and all these things, and human beings did that. So are we supposed to also be worshiping human beings in that same way? Like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
That's why I made a meme about that argument, because that's about how much that argument is worth addressing.
Yeah. That was so
reminder,
stupid.
Before we get to our next call, that we are reading super chats of $5 or more, and we have time for a couple more calls. Probably. We'll see how long this one takes. So if you want to get your call in before the show ends, it's 720-619-2288. Shall we talk to our next caller?
Yes. We have another David, funny enough. Hello, David.
Hello. I was the first caller that got disconnected.
Oh, okay. Well, we're glad you got back on.
Yeah, I made it. I wish I could have talked to Marvin.
Oh God, yeah,
that was
he was
lovely
interesting, huh?
Yeah, I think he was definitely a troll.
Yeah, I think so. What did you want to talk about today?
Well, I've actually responded to the question topic for your show, which was about our women. I forget now. Was it women? Do women benefit from?
Do women do better under Trump? Yeah.
Oh yes, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, it depends on the women.
Okay.
There's
sorry. I've muted myself and I've just been chatting to myself like always. I was going to say I agree with you, because actually when I saw that, we don't write those ourselves. Sometimes we do, but we haven't been doing that. But I think that you're right. Like there are some women it's better for. It also depends on what's your definition of better and all of that. So anyways, I'm eager to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, there's a certain type of woman. I've had to watch several weeks of Fox News because I'm a part-time helper for my elderly father, and he watches Fox News all the time. So,
I'm so sorry.
Yes. Whew. But there's a certain type of woman that is really benefiting from this culture. It's well, the ones that you see on Fox News, that's all about being fake glamorous and subservient, I suppose, is their ideal. The man's the best. It's a certain type of woman that benefits from that, and they're fine with it.
Yeah. I think my concern too is that, because I agree with you that clearly there are women that voted for this, and there are women that are advocating for this. There are women that are advocating for Project 2025, and I grew up around a lot of those women. I think what's sad for me is that I've seen behind the scenes when these women really get what they asked for, and it takes them out too, where suddenly some situation occurs to where they really need some autonomy. They really need some freedom. They really need equality. And they have put themselves in a situation, which we can talk about whether we blame them for that or whether we blame the system or what we blame. But they're now in a situation to where they are suffering from the consequences of a choice that they acted as though they wanted, that's something that they were asking for. I do think a lot of people as well, not just women, but also these women that we're talking about, they just they don't want to be responsible for like that much. Like, it feels like too much for them to have to think outside of this little world. And that's why I'm a huge advocate for mental health and, what the religious, recovering from religion, what they do for people. I think that's so important because so many people, I think they're so stuck in whatever issue they're dealing with personally that it sounds nice to just be like, no, I want a king. I want a king at home. I want a king in the government. I want a king up in the sky. And I just give over my choice to them. I think that's part of it. Alyssa, what do you think about that?
I think really super wealthy white ladies are probably going to benefit in some way, like their families will benefit. But it's tough because benefit is a tough word for me to use, because even in this, like, from my perspective, anyone who is subservient doesn't feel like they're living freely. But there are people who, like, everyone has the right to live the way they want to live. And so if that's how they want to live, like, who am I to tell them that they can't and that that's not the right choice? So for some people, it's going to feel beneficial. And even from my perspective, looking at their lives, it doesn't feel like a benefit. They'll benefit, I guess, a small chunk of people will benefit financially, of course. But like, socially, it's like it's setting us all back so far that I don't know. It's hard to call it a benefit, even though for some people that's what they want.
Right. Well, and then there's the other category of Trump voter, female voter, that is just salt of the earth, good person, suffering from low information and simplistic thinking.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And some people are... You go ahead, Alyssa.
I feel sad for that group. Like, I feel sad for the group that just is not, I don't know. Part of me feels bad, and another part of me is kind of like, we did this song and dance already. Like, we did this through an entire term. And to be back here again, it's like, it's just really frustrating. But I do feel bad. Like, there were a lot of people that were talking about, wanting grocery prices to be lower and all of that kind of stuff. And really believing that the biggest concern that would directly affect their lives was the, like, quote, immigrant crisis. And in reality, like, that is not the biggest problem that we have in this country by far.
Right.
So,
I do think we also have so many women that are just trying to make ends meet, and they are busting their ass working, trying to pay bills. They are trying to take care of their kids. They're trying to handle their own mental health. They're trying to keep their family together or whatever it is. And they don't have the time, literally, to stay informed. And it's so much easier in that situation than to just go with the status quo. My friend's saying this because her husband told her this, so that must be true. And this scariest thing I heard coming out, like this statistic from this news source, because that's the only one I hear from, because I don't have time to go change the channel when I'm, like what you're doing, like imagine somebody doing that, going and caring for their father who's only watching Fox News. That's the only source of information they get because that's the only time they have to watch TV. It's so easy for things to happen like that. And that's what keeps me from just feeling angry all the time at other people, is because I do think, like you said, so many people are doing the absolute best with what they have. And unfortunately, they just don't have a lot. And that's the problem. Like, that's ultimately the problem here. That's what I want to see change in the US, is that people have what they need. But then that's why we got to this problem to begin with. That's why we're here. That's why we have Trump, is because people don't have what they need in order to even make an informed decision about who should be in charge.
Right. And then one other shocking thing that I found is that you'll talk to Trump supporters who, just don't understand what lies Trump would have told. And I think he's told 30,000 plus. And they're questioning, give me one example of a lie. How you really have to be removed from reality if you question whether he ever told a lie.
Right. Well, it's like find something true, he said.
Right. I also, that was like one of the things that always stressed me out, when people would say, well, the Democrats really didn't give people much hope to believe in. And Trump was like painting this vision of hope and all of these things getting better and all this kind of stuff. Every time someone would say that to me, I would just point out, right. And also we found 30,000 lies. So we know that even when he's like spinning this beautiful like story of how he's going to fix everything, he's lying. So I would rather take the nothing over the lie. And then it's also interesting to think about the times where they pick and choose when they believe he's telling the truth and when he was just, oh no, he's just crazy. He was just saying stuff. Like, that's not, don't worry. Like, it just is, I don't know. There are times where I feel like I'm having a conversation where I'm saying, I don't understand the level of faith that people had in him doing the right thing. And then there are other times where I'm like, when it came to Project 2025, and then all of these people were saying, Trump's not involved. That's not a Trump project. Don't worry. And now here we are. Like, it's baffling.
Yes, it's all come true. Well, the only other thing I would add is talking about Fox News. If you want to kind of throw up in your mouth every day, the women that through the day host these programs, and along with the men, their normalization of this guy, like he's golden. The guy that caused a crowd to burn or attack and shit on the Capitol on January 6th is, all of a sudden this wonderful guy that's returned. It's asinine.
Right. Yeah. I am scared of seeing how they are able to spin everything that he puts out there, because it just feels, it's just straight up propaganda, and it's so terrifying to watch. And to know so many people watch that channel and like are inundated with that, and that's the only news source that they give themselves, is just so frightening.
Yeah. Really frightening. So yeah, my dad has fallen prey to that, and believe it or not, when 50 years ago he was pretty much a liberal.
Wow.
So it's a strange phenomenon. Yeah, he's not the dad that I grew up with. The dad that I grew up with would have spotted Trump as a phony and a con man in a minute, but for some reason,
I'm so sorry.
He can fool all these people.
Yeah, a similar thing happened with my dad, in that my dad was always more on the conservative side. He was a pastor in the evangelical world and all of that. But what happened is he started progressing. We moved out to California. We were around people that thought differently. It's hard to hate people when you're confronted with their existence and they're lovely people, And And I was so excited because I felt like our whole family, we were just progressing. And then all of a sudden Trump came out of nowhere and just latched onto him. My dad was speaking really highly of Obama at a time when pastors were saying the most disgusting, horrific things. So he was getting uninvited to stuff. So I really thought that there was going to be a change there. But you're right. That goes to show how there is something, it feels very sinister, but I don't know exactly what it is. This like cult of personality that Trump was able to bring together. And it's
Right.
bizarre. It really is. I'm so sorry that you had to watch that happen with your dad. But it's amazing of you. It sounds like you're still spending time with him and still able to connect. And I love that for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, he's not hardcore. He actually mutes Trump sometimes when he's talking because he realizes he's a bit of a clown, but he doesn't realize how much of a clown. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, he's lucky to have you as some sort of balance there in whatever way you do that for him. I'm sure that is like a positive influence in like a tornado of Fox News stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And also it's really interesting, just as a side note, I'm 65, my dad's 85. And spending time with him now is it reminds me of 40, 50 years ago. Just the way it was to be at home and with mom and dad. Yeah, so it's interesting.
I bet that sounds like it would pull you back to that place. I feel that way anytime around my family.
Yeah, and I can't imagine how the dynamic. It's so interesting because when you're an adult and like if you have kids or just like being an adult like in the workforce and your parents are still like doing their thing too, you're able to kind of like almost feel like peers for a period of time, and then you pass a threshold where they get old enough where they need caretakers, and then it shifts again. It's so interesting.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there's definitely a growth to it. You kind of feel like you're an equal adult sometimes with your parents, but then I think as you get older, you start remembering how it was years and years ago, and it's like the comfort of having that mom and dad image again in your head, and the way it was when you were a child.
Yeah, it's a really interesting place to be, and I'm sure navigating that every day is really interesting.
Yes, indeed. It's funny to grow old with your parents.
Yeah.
Well, it's also, I think, a cool thing that you're able to do that. So, and thanks so much for calling, David, and sharing that with us. And I think those are some valid points about women that have voted for Trump. You're right. For them, at least for this time period, it is better for them.
Right.
I do think we're going to hear from many that feel they were lied to, because they happen, and that feel that this didn't go the way they want to. And it'll be tough to watch, but I'm hopeful that some mind changes will help things for everybody.
Right. Well, thanks so much for the conversation.
Thanks so much, David. Have a great evening.
You. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye. Okay,
bye.
Bye. That was sweet.
Yeah,
I like David.
All these people talking to their parents. I love it.
We did get a.
Should that be a call?
Maybe. We did get a Theist caller that just literally just popped up. So maybe that should be our last call.
Let's do it.
Okay. Let's pull in Brian calling from Florida. Hi, Brian.
How's it going? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Watching you guys.
Awesome. What did you want to talk about today?
Well, I just want to cheer you guys up. Everything is going to be okay with Trump in there. Nothing to fret about. And there seems
What
to
do
be
you
a
think?
lot of depression.
What do you think we're fretting about?
Well, I think you guys think that he's tyrannical and that he's going to end democracy, and that's not true. And I think you guys would be a lot happier if you were Republicans. I think your life would be happier. You would feel better. Everything would just kind of settle into place.
I'm really interested to hear Alyssa take this on, but I'm just going to throw out this one thing. I'm very happy. I love my life. I'm extremely happy. That doesn't mean that I'm unable to hold space for the fact that I think we're headed into some dangerous times where we're having to fight for the rights of our friends and ourselves that we should never even have been put up for debate. Being able to have access to healthcare, like the fact that I am prone to ectopic pregnancies, I almost died from one, and I need abortion to save my life in certain situations, that's an important thing. My friends that are trans shouldn't have to be worried about their jobs, much less their lives. So things like that. It's not that we can't be happy and have good lives. I'm not depressed because of politics. I have space to be happy, to love the life that I have. I also have some privileges that allow me to be in that space. One of them being that I get to spend half the year not in this country. But I have space for that and the ability to observe what's going on and call it what it is. Alyssa, I'll let you take it from here.
It's interesting because I see a lot of parallels in this conversation with the conversations that we have about with theists who say similar things about you would be happier if you were religious, you would be happier if you believed in God. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like it's not about whether I'm happier or not, like making a choice based on which would make me happier. It's which one I believe is true. So like, I feel like using religion as an example, I don't believe that God exists. So it wouldn't make me feel happy to follow the doctrine because I would be following something that does not feel true to me. And so when we are watching things happening in front of us, like Roe v. Wade getting repealed or overturned, and seeing the rights of trans people no longer being protected, and DEI programs being removed, and environmental programs being removed, and federal funding being threatened to be taken away from states who don't want to, in Trump's words, comply. I feel like I would have to choose into a delusion to think that all of that is fine. In a similar way that I can't choose into believing a God exists if I don't believe he does. It's the difference between like wanting the truth and not. And so like I've seen the statistics that Democrats are not as happy as Republicans, but I also kind of like, right, to me, I sort of am like, that just feels like we're living in the reality of the situation. And I don't really want to be in like La La Land about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get your perspective, and I used to be a Democrat for a long time, and I went to school.
I'm not a Democrat. I'll make sure you know that, but continue.
Well, and I used to think that way, but then, you grow up and you kind of think differently, and you see a lot of that with Democrats as they get older.
I used to be a Republican, and then I grew up and I stopped thinking like that. See how this goes?
Well, that may be a one-off thing, but I think if you're looking at it like overall trends, I think you see younger people as Democrats and older people as Republicans, right?
Except I already told you I'm not a Democrat, and I was a Republican up until I was 26-ish.
Oh, but that's anecdotal. I'm talking about like large
so
macro
is yours
trends
that you just shared. So I'm just letting you know. But also, you're talking to me
No,
right now.
and
You're talking to Alyssa right now.
I also don't know if that
You guys
matters
are
that
so
much because
unhappy. You guys are just so
I don't think that
unhappy.
matters. I don't think it matters very much that that you believe that as people got older in your generation they were Republicans. I don't think that matters at
It's
all.
a
Like,
statistical fact. It's a statistical fact that older people are Republicans and younger people are Democrats.
But
You
you're
can't get
talking to
around that.
Alyssa and I right now. I'm not a Democrat. I can't speak for Alyssa, but I'm not a Democrat. And I
You
don't
can-
understand
you
what
can
that has
think
to do
about
with the
big picture.
conversation you're having with us right now. If that's the case, Brian, then why don't you just hang up the phone and wait for us to get older, and then we'll think like you?
Because I'm an adult and I can have a conversation without getting angry.
Sure, so can I.
Why do you
but
feel?
what does that have to do with this? You're not having the conversation with us. You're just saying, well, here's a statistic. Okay, what do you want me to do with that information?
I don't know. Think about it. Chew on it like a person instead of like a liberal drone robot.
Brian,
That's always such an interesting.
Go ahead, Alyssa.
That's such an interesting
angry.
thing to say.
You can't have a
That's such an
conversation without being argumentative. It's so bad. And I think if you guys
think it's
would listen to the
Hey,
conservative
Alyssa's in the middle
side,
of talking, and I'm going to mute you because you're ignoring her.
I think it's interesting to talk about how as people got older in your experience, because I have not seen, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but I just haven't seen a statistic to show that that's true. I think that there was an entire generation of boomers that believed that if they followed the Republican doctrine, they would be successful. I think that was the idea. Like, financially, being a Republican was the responsible thing to do. It made it look like you were about business and you cared about the bottom line, and that's my impression of it. And I guess, like, if that's what you would like to believe, that's fine. When I think about people who are young and people who are liberal, I think about people who have empathy for others. I think about people who put human beings and human life and joy and freedom ahead of a bottom line. It's people over profit. And when I think about the Republican ideal, it's profit over people. And then it's also surprising to me because we have statistical evidence, real evidence to show that every time this country is under a Democratic president, our economy is infinitely better. And all of the states that vote blue in the United States financially support the states that vote red. So even if you are profit over people, it would appear that voting blue also benefits you. So this is where I'm saying, like, it just feels like when it comes to truth, I favor truth and honesty and real information over deciding to choose the thing that's going to make me happier, because at the expense of no empathy for others, only caring about my personal bottom line. My community is my nuclear family. I don't think that we move forward as a society that way, and I think that evidence shows that we don't move forward as a society that way. I'm going to unmute you.
Okay, did you want to talk now? After your
Did you hear
speech?
anything I said? Did you hear anything I said?
It was all liberal talking points, and I kind of zoned out for a little bit there. I think you demonized the Republican side, and you said that you think it's about people over profit to choose between Democrats and Republicans. And I think there's something that you're failing to see is that when Democrats get older, they don't learn less; they actually learn more about the world. And the fact that they turn into Republicans should be an indicator to you, should be a big iceberg indicator to you. That there's
It's actually a
different way of
fallacy
seeing it.
to appeal to age. So I just want to go ahead and clear that up. That's not.
Can you just interrupt me? Now you're interrupting me. So
Yes,
do we
I
get
will
to just
interrupt you
each other now?
Yes, actually, I'm going to mute you again and explain the rules to you. This is our show. We get to interrupt you. We get to cut in and say things when we want to. And then you can respond, and we're letting you respond. We're even letting you stay on this call, which is wild after you've just accused us of ad hominem after ad hominem after ad hominem while starting with the fallacy of age, while not even telling us how old you are. Anyways, continue.
Who cares how old I am?
You seem to care very much about age in this conversation.
Well, it doesn't really matter how old I am specifically, though. So
How old do
the
you
point
think
that
we
I'm
are?
making,
So
I don't care. It doesn't
Why are
really.
you
It
bringing
doesn't.
up
it doesn't-
clearly you
Brian?
do. Clearly
It's
you
really
do.
ridiculous.
You're
ridiculous.
talking so much about age. But also,
You
do
guys
you
are
think...
so angry. Chill out. Chill
Do you
out.
think-
You guys are so
What if
angry.
we're raised?
You
We're
can't
just
even
I'm
listen.
so
not
You guys can't
angry.
even listen to you.
Where's your
You
good
listen to you
argument?
talk. You guys
Brian.
can't even listen to me. You guys can't even listen to me.
Brian,
All right, go ahead.
Brian, I muted you again. I just want to reiterate that I literally don't give a shit what your opinion is. I can hang up this call at any time. My heart rate right now is fucking resting. I don't care. So you keep telling me I'm angry. I'm not angry. I don't care. You called in to our show. So I'm having this conversation per your request. Okay? Wonderful.
Until
I'm
he
unmuting
proves
you now.
otherwise, we might need to assume he's a troll because so far we've got no argument. I don't even know what his point
You guys
is.
just aren't listening. You guys just aren't listening, and you're interrupting. So you guys are. I think you guys are trolls. How much are they paying you to sit up here and get beat around
$5
by
million
Republicans?
every minute you stay on the line. Keep talking.
If you give one piece
Why-
of
you don't
actual
need to be angry,
information beyond, no one is. You're the
You're
only
not
one who's
listening,
raising
though.
your voice. You're the only one
But
who's
you're not
raising your
listening.
voice. You sound like a big baby. So if you want to give one piece of information, literally one beyond, you think that as people
So
get
what kind of
older.
information would you like to hear? If you actually,
Whoa, are you getting?
So here's a good
Are you
question.
getting angry?
He sounds really
Here's a good
emotional.
question for
We
you.
should check on him. I don't think his mental health is
you
okay
sound
right now.
really
Very
angry.
Are you guys
Oof.
done?
I don't know.
That's
I
what
don't
you
know
did
if
to
we're done.
us for the past however many minutes.
12 minutes now.
Like, what are you
guys
talking
have had
about?
me
Can
on
we
mute.
double it?
You guys are clowns. You guys are
Brian,
fucking
here's a
You
real-
haven't
here's
given
a real
us a
question
single
for you.
piece of information.
Here-
You haven't given us a single piece of.
I'm going to mute him for a second because, wow, that's annoying. I'll ask him. We'll give him one
And
chance.
we're the
I'll
one
give
who's.
him-
We're the ones who
Yeah.
are angry, but that's what he did. Are you fucking nuts?
This
What
is
are you
hilarious.
talking
I
about?
think let's ask him, what is one good reason we should be excited about Trump being in office? And let's see what he has to
Great.
offer. Okay. Brian, were you listening or should I repeat the question?
Go ahead and repeat the question for me.
That's what I thought. So, can you give us one reason that Alyssa and I should be super excited that Trump specifically is in office?
Because he's not bought and paid for by a rich billionaire class. He's thinking for himself.
He's
Sorry.
literally bought and paid for by billionaires. What are you talking about?
Here's my 2-word rebuttal for you. Elon Musk. The end. Also, here's my follow-up.
literally.
The aisle of people sitting behind him during his inauguration, which were all billionaires.
All
Also, do you know what
billionaires.
he just announced today that he's going to have this, instead of a green card, you can pay $5 million for a gold card because he doesn't actually care about criminals being let in. He just cares about if they're rich
You guys
or
aren't even
not.
talking. Now you're just
Phenomenal
talking,
rebuttal.
We're
talking,
Phenomenal.
talking. There's no rebuttal. You haven't even heard my point. I
We just
started to talk
responded to your
words.
point.
Oh, should we go to
We
Super
just
Chat?
responded to your point.
You guys are not having a conversation. You guys are fucking
No,
clowns.
you
guys
you
cannot
are
hang
a very
here. You guys
listen,
cannot
Brian.
hang.
We've had conversations.
I muted him.
Brian,
I
we've had
can't do it.
conversations. We've had conversations with people that we greatly disagree with, very much disagree with, and we've been able to have conversations back and forth over and over. You can actually, I think he hung up. Of course he did. Big baby moves, but we're the ones
Good.
who are
We need to
angry.
get to Super Chats anyways. That is so hilarious.
But we're
I'm
the
sorry.
ones that are angry.
we couldn't have gotten
That
a
was
better
the
clip.
craziest
With that,
thing.
with that saying he's not bought and paid for is absolutely hilarious.
That was
Absolutely
crazy.
hilarious.
We have conversations with people. If Brian is listening, I'm sure he's not anymore, but yeah, the fact
He
that he
never
said that we
was.
were fucking morons, right. The fact that he called us fucking morons after saying that we were the ones who were angry, sir. But that was crazy. And we've had conversations, we've said this so many times, we've had conversations with people we greatly disagree with and have been able to have actual back and forth conversation. That man just threw a tantrum for 15 minutes. That was crazy.
And as far as actual arguments go, if you call in to have an argument, and it's not like we're super formal over here, but we do know how to follow an actual conversation and informal debate. If you call in, going ahead and assuming, he said, you guys are so depressed, like assuming our emotional state when you don't know and you haven't
I'm
asked.
not depressed.
Ad
I'm
hominem
literally
number
not
one,
depressed.
right off the bat, and then saying we're angry over and over. Like that's what we were saying is those aren't real arguments. Give us information. Let's talk about that. But he just made that way too easy and too much fun. Anyways, shall we get to
hilarious
our super chats before I feel like my voice is going to just stop working at any moment.
I'm so worried about you.
I hope that I'm just scared, but I'm worried about me too.
Okay.
$4.99 from Sarah Talks Podcast. Oh, that's right. You were going to call. I'm not feeling the best today, so I didn't call. Thanks, anxiety, but I will call next week. Sending love to you both. Thank you, Sarah. And would you tell the, when you call, will you please tell the call screener that you're Sarah Talks Podcast so that way we can remember. And we'll bump you to the top of the list.
Yeah, girl. $5 from Melatonin Ale. I got engaged to my long... Ale? Oh, sorry. Okay. That's makes way more sense. I
learned that the hard way.
I got engaged to all of my long-term relationships, which weren't many, but still, my indecisiveness and anxiety saved my ass there. See, your gut always tells you.
That's one of my favorite things to say when I'm playing Two Truths and a Lies. I'll throw in there that every man that's dated me has proposed to me. Which is true.
That's so good. I love that. I love that. I think this is you.
This is me. I'm just sitting here. Okay, great. $9.99 from Jeremy. Life hack or just advice? I don't know, but those flushable wipes can't actually be flushed. This is true. I love y'all. Sincerely, a fan that works for the water department. Yes, that is very true. It's weird that they market them that way.
I know. $5 from Monkey, a typewriter. Dish soap is the best cleaner for the bathroom. Toilet, sinks, bathtub. Seriously, it will change your bathtub. And black tea is a great glass cleaner. Ooh, that's
I did not know that about
to
black
know.
tea. Also, I'll
try
do
that.
you one louder. Dawn Power Wash. That stuff, I don't know what they put in it. Wow. I don't care how bad it is for me. It works so well. Are you guys hearing this? Am I making this up?
No, you're
like
getting raspy.
Okay, great. I'm getting raspy. Yeah. Great. Cool. Next. Thanks, Monkey.
It sounds sexy though, so that's okay.
Oh, thanks. I'll try to go finish recording this song and then get sick.
Oh my god. Bad. I think this is you again.
Oh my god. Not well. I'm so angry. Sleep. I can't think straight. $4.99.
So depressed and angry.
From Homespun Covers, life hack: rubbing alcohol removes chewing gum. Disclaimer: just remember to take it out of your mouth first. Solid.
Very good. Very good. Very good. 10 pounds from Herbie Shine, life hack: what cats leave in the litter tray aren't cat eggs. That was a bad cake. Ew. Promise, can you suggest some good music to listen to from the Finnish musician Jukka Backlund Was Framed? That's really funny.
Aww. I think he has a Spotify playlist. Maybe he'll message me and maybe he's listening right now. We'll see how devoted of a husband he's being. But he watches these shows. But the thing is, sometimes he also plays this little VR game while he's listening, so he can't type. But he has a playlist, a Spotify playlist. And I'm sure if you just look up Jukka, Jukka Backlund, then you'll find it. All of his work that he's done, because he's amazing.
Love
Thank
it.
you. Okay, this is me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. $10 from Jamnik06. I missed last week's show to catch a once in a lifetime theatrical experience. Super special. Super, meaning the thing was super special. It was called super special. But to answer last week's prompt, Plane Crash by Mo. Solid. Okay, I'll
That's
write
good.
it down so I can add it to that playlist.
$10 from Jamnik06. Oh, I guess this is the lyric. This is the lyrics in that song. Strap me in, tie down, and roll me a bone. I'm getting on an airplane and I'm flying home. Strap me in, tie down. I'm learning to fly, travel across the country. I get too fucking high. This sounds like a good one. This is good. Love it.
$5 from Coffee Mom. How to fold a fitted sheet. Just kidding. You shove the entire bedding set inside one of the pillowcases. Why would you take the time to fold that?
That's a great idea.
I'm with you. Also, thanks for this because I can clip this and use it to share tomorrow this amazing thing I got in the mail that someone sent me that was really sweet. And so I want to share it. To store your sheets in, and it is like actually cute.
Ooh.
I'm going to share it. It's great. But also,
Please
yes,
do.
Holding fitted sheets is the worst. Okay, now I'm like
It's
getting
the worst.
hot.
Promise.
You guys might be watching
I
me
think-
come down with the flu right now.
I think you guys are getting fluey over there.
I'll read faster.
Five Canadian dollars from Mistress Olive. Curiosity is the cornerstone of all life, I believe. When we remain curious, we grow. When you stop being curious, you forfeit your ability to learn. Period.
Love
That was
that.
beautifully put. Beautifully put. Geminic06 also said that the theatrical thing was a super special experience. I'm so happy for you. That sounds nice.
Okay, got it. Amazing. $4.99 from Sarah Wilson. Life hack. Apply dry shampoo before going to bed since your hair gets the most oily while sleeping. Of course, that makes so much sense. Loose powder also absorbs oil better than aerosols. Oh, so that's brilliant. That's how to, because I've seen those, like where you get the dry shampoo, but it's in that little thing. And I'm like, oh, that's like right before I go somewhere. Just the night before.
That's so
Amazing.
smart. I'm going to do that tonight. £5 from Sean Isherwood. Reverse triangle inequality. If Z denotes a norm of an element Z over a field. Why are we reading this? This is very confusing.
Sean, thank
Was this
you.
a prompt?
A
I'm
field
scared.
F,
What
and for
is
any
this?
X and Y and F, we have, I don't even know how to say this. I was homeschooled.
I know. That's why halfway through I was like, I think I've lost the plot. I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
Thank you, Sean. Someone smarter than us is
Thank
really
you, Sean.
enjoying that right now.
Yes.
$5 from ZM. Thank you for what you do. I learn a lot from how you handle disrespectful people. I bet you sent that before the last call, but thank you. I don't think I've ever mocked a caller before, but that was ridiculous. Also, I'm very sure I've talked to Brian before and that he immediately accused me of emotional behavior. So I don't really care.
Also, sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning so much today. Sean also apparently sends math like pretty often and baffles everyone. I'm happy to be in on the Sean math. Thank you for sending math. Math was my scariest subject. So, $5 from Pibble Punk, half dog, half canine. Marvin's onto something. The government replaced all the trees just like they did the birds. Right. Exactly.
Yes, clearly that's what happened. $4.99 from Homespun Covers. Life hack. Hypnosis to stop smoking. I tried it unsuccessfully, but every now and again, I think I'm a chicken. Amazing.
That's really funny. Love it. £5 from Herbie Shine. Belated song for Plane Journey. Oh my god, why am I yawning? You know when you start and then you can't stop? Like, I don't even feel that tired. I don't know what's going on. I'm so sorry. Belated song for Plane Journey. P/L? I don't know what that means. Loop Burning World
Playlist.
for Burning... playlist. Duh. What's going on? My brain is very slow today. Loop Burning World or Burning Plasma. Basically the same song, but Plasma is more swirly and trippy. Swirly.
Very cool.
I like that description. Oh, you muted yourself, promise.
Guys. $6.99 Canadian from the day's adventure. Thanks. I'm flushed. I'm like,
Yeah, I see it.
happening. $9.99 from Cody Cooper. Satan is real. Just look at the floods. Just look at the wildfires. Just look at the COVID-19. But seriously, Messy Marvin embarrassed himself. He sounded like an uneducated rube. Yeah. Here's the problem. I think that Marvin might be serious, but knew they couldn't have the conversation outside of the biblical scholar conversation that they wanted to have. And so then they just started trolling back. Like, I do think they called in with a fake name and all of that. But if I had to guess, that's what happened. Maybe not. Maybe just full on troll. But anyways.
Oh. $5 from Mr. Boricua 10. Life hack, maybe use a GI infection as a chance to change your diet if you need to shed some extra mass, plus tea, books, and maybe green. Yeah, I guess. Not a life hack that I would want to choose into, but yeah, I guess so.
Also, I'm always trying to gain weight. So the few times I've gotten the stomach virus, I've been devastated. I've been like, all my hard work gone.
Yeah.
666 from SJL. Reagan removed the fairness doctrine and was largely responsible for the rise of right-wing media. Yep, a genie we will never get back in the bottle. Yeah, so many of our problems can be traced directly back to Reagan, who also happened to be like a TV star turned politician.
Isn't that interesting? You would have thought that we would have learned. $5 from Moira Bannister. I caught the show live this time. Yay! The best two hosts on the line besides Jimmy, my favorite. Go fuck yourself, Jimmy. Moira and I now DM, and it makes me really happy because now we have like other opportunities to chat. And I love it. So thank you, Moira. We love you.
Thanks, Moira. I just wanted to say your name. I mean, thank you, of course, but also I like saying your name. $10 from Bobby Kinniston. Blue today. Doctor appointment for dad. Dementia doesn't get better. Don't know how much longer I can provide care he needs at home. Mixed feelings, which amps up the guilt. Grateful for the show. I'm so sorry. I can't imagine
it's so tough
what that's like, but sending you all the best, wishing you the best. And thanks for being here to hang out with us in the meantime, even though we're so angry and emotional.
Yeah. So angry. $5 from Monkey a Typewriter. You gotta feel for Trump though. Dude's been eyeing the role of Adolf all his life, and he ended up playing Ava. Repeat from last night, but worth it. That's really funny.
Really, really funny. Did you guys see the TV screens that got hacked at that one department? And they put, I think it was the Department of Urban Development, and they put that AI video of Trump like kissing Elon's feet everywhere. It's so funny to me.
It was so good.
$5 from Moira Bannister. # death promise. # shut him down with logic. I don't know which call this was in regard to, but thank you. I won't apologize to any of them anyways.
No. Fuck them. $5 Canadian from Grace5769. I'm a trans woman. Am I going to have to deal with men talking down to me like Brian when I start presenting femme? FML still worth it though. Definitely still worth it. I think there will be Brian's, but there will also be Promises and Alyssa's that will punch Brian's in the neck. So
except not literally. We're not issuing physical threats on here. The logical
never literally.
In the logical neck. Just
yes, so in the logical neck. In the logical neck. Yeah.
$5 from Malia Shauna. Yeah, in the mental, in the neck of his argument, of his lack of argument that has no neck. So
right,
necklace Brian,
necklace Brian,
Silverbow. Brian, you are a sad boy. You think that if a woman pushes back against you, that it's them getting angry. # death. Yeah, that seems to be what happened. Is basically it was like, okay, you start your call with an ad hominem. I'm letting you have that. And then we ask for more information. Okay, why shouldn't we be upset about Trump being in office? And then we're presented with, you guys are so angry. It's okay.
Yeah.
He's banned.
Excellent. Yeah, I've talked to him before and it was just as pointless. But at least we got a laugh this time.
Yeah, that's true. £5 from Sean. I sure would. I hope I'm saying that right. So what if people are more right-wing with age? People are often smarter in their youth. Now what? Period.
That's why
yeah.
bringing up the age thing. Also, what would happen if suddenly that changed? What if people started getting more liberal as they age? Then would Brian concede and say
Right.
that that's better? That's why it's a fallacy. $6.99 from The Day's Adventure. Thank you. And thanks for giving me an easy one to read as I feel something
Oh my
happening.
god. $5 from Herbie Shine. Brian possibly called before and possibly spoke to Promise and Forrest. He made himself look stupid then and again now. Brian, you are a crybaby.
I
Yeah.
remember that now. That's when it happened. And Forrest and I were also giggling. $9.99 from
Nice.
Jeremy. Remember when Brian asserted he was an adult that could have a convo? Thanks for ripping him, based Alyssa and based Promise. Thanks,
That
Jeremy.
was like, thanks, Jeremy.
Uh,
God. That was so crazy. You guys are so angry. You're so depressed. And then he literally
hurting
went,
my
£5
we should have
from
told him
Mystic
to.
Minds.
We should have told him to call
Told
back
him
when
to
he
what?
can have his mom on the line with him.
Oh my god. Oh, I wish. Okay, we'll have to keep that in the bank. $5 from Mystic Minds Analysis Tavern. Hashtag life chat. Hi. Oh my god. Hello. Life hack. Engage. Take a day where you disengage with politics to recharge as part of your mental health routine. We can fight stronger together. Agreed. Also, I need to show you guys how stinking cute my dog is being.
Oh my
I love when he
goodness.
does that. Now he's
Little cute.
embarrassed. He's like, don't show
He's like,
my
"Stop."
belly on. Yeah. Okay. Continue.
This on me.
Sorry.
I love this profile picture so much. I had a pet ferret named Whiskey one time, and I used to take her everywhere on a leash. I was a
really
teenager, so
cute.
I don't think I should have had a pet, but anyways. $5 from
Fine.
John Paul. I'm excited that Trump is the president because billionaires who hate workers, unions, and affordable childcare definitely care about the lower class.
Right.
Yeah. God.
$5 from Moira Bannister. Maybe he's secretly a liberal trolling to increase the super chats.
Honestly,
Maybe.
So far, that's the
Maybe.
best explanation we have for Brian.
Yes.
Let's go with it. $4.99 from Philip Kelly. I'm sure this is the same Brian Forrest batted around a few weeks ago. Y'all dealt with him in half the time.
Yeah.
I was going to make a joke about Forrest and how long he likes to stay on calls, but I'm just going to smile. Because I love Forrest.
$5 from Gemnik06. Well, if Brian was trolling to increase super chats, it worked. Here's more money for expertly handling that troll. I love learning from y'all. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamnik.
That was really funny.
$20 from Green Man Dave. Brian is more of a troll than I am, and I live under 4 bridges. Love you all. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. $5 from Dolphin with Igloo. Zelensky can't be a dictator. Trump would be sending him love letters. Right. Right.
Oof, good point. $5 from Aaliyah Shauna Silverbow. A racist, a liar, and a misogynist walks into a bar. The bartender said, "Good evening, Mr. President." Hashtag death. Yep, unfortunately, that's where we're at.
$5 from Jamnik06. Do you know the difference between a green bean and a chickpea? Trump has never paid to have a green bean on his face. Hashtag death. That's really good. That's a really good one. I love it.
$5 from Commander Shepard. I know you guys aren't that religious, and I disagree with Chewed Gum 95% of the time, but I think Trump is a demon in sheep clothes. We'll take it.
I'll take it. I will take it.
We'll take it.
I don't even think he's wearing the sheep clothes anymore. Yeah. I don't even think he's in sheep's clothing anymore. I think he's pretty out there in his demon outfit, and then he's just telling everyone that this is fine. I don't know. $5 from Secular Felinist. Life hack. If you choose the wrong spaghetti sauce, you can clean it off in your washing machine. Ew, that's gross. I'm thinking of like putting just like spaghetti in the washing machine and just like letting it.
$5 from Pibble Punk, half dog, half canine. Girls, I love you, but you're being way too nice to these a-holes that call in just to throw insults and waste your time. Are we being nice,
I
or
know.
are we getting clips and getting paid to do this?
That's the
my
real
thing.
question.
I'm not saying this about you, Pibble Punk, but I get people all the time on my Instagram that will say, you're giving way too much attention to these people. How do you think that I pay my bills? It's when we highlight some of these ridiculous conversations, because unfortunately these people occur out in the wild as well. And so sometimes, every now and then, we will let one in and remind everyone why we do what we do, so that that doesn't become the norm. We want to continue being shocked by that behavior.
Yeah. $5 from Moira Bannister. Mockery is one of the only effective responses to fascists. Right. I know. And also, like, for someone like Brian, like, literally all we had to do was say he was being a big baby, and then I think the next time we unmuted him, he went,
That was so funny.
I'll never forget
I want
that.
to clip just that sound.
That was, right? That was so
It was
nuts.
really good. Honestly, the whole vibe of that call was that he called in wanting to go there with the conversation. Like, if we had just been monotone, he still would have done that. So $5 from Giddy. Have your child's first words be dada. You get brownie points for giving your partner that experience, and your baby will call for dad every time they poop.
Genius. That's genius. $10 from Mr. Boricua. Life hack. British. Don't at me. Do not allow for people such as Brian Florida. This is crazy.
You have to read it in your British accent, Alyssa. I'm so glad I didn't get this one.
God. Oh, God. Okay. Do not allow for people such as Brian of Florida to spew rubbish without mocking the frick out of them. And me going 6s and 7s, bruv. Foul lil so-and-so. Foul lil so-and-so. Okay. We got it.
That was incredible.
Listen, I got to the end.
Thank you for that.
I got
that
to
was
the end.
Worth
Thank you.
$10 for
Thank you. That was crazy.
$5 from Jamnick06. I'm flushed, promise. I will not make a poop joke. I will not make a poop joke. I will not make a poop joke. Thank you.
Oh my God. You do look flushed, though. I'm a little concerned. $5 from Monkey Typewriter. Right. Yeah. When Promise mutes herself and starts speaking, I'm worried it's just my latent misogynistic programming taking effect. The Manospherian candidate.
Nope, that's just me censoring myself all the time.
You know, it happens to
honestly, this happens more often, I think, on other episodes, like where we have long debates with a theist, and I'll like chime in with different questions, like a why or what do you mean in the middle of somebody else, which I shouldn't do anyways, but it happens. That's like how these calls go. And I'm so offended sometimes. I'm like, everyone's ignoring me. And then I'm like, I was muted.
You've been on mute the whole time.
I was muted. Oopsie. $10 from Hapa. You guys are clowns. I tell you, clowns. I screech with such rageful spite about how mad you all are with not a hint of irony. Absolutely wild. Nice job dealing with him. Thank you.
Thank you. $5 from Monkey a Typewriter. Brian being incapable of raising your blood pressure below the belt isn't a reason to be randomly rude to women. Hit the gym, get a pill, something. Right. Yeah. The worst.
$5 from President Starscream. Life hack learned from the hosts. Treat all humans as people. I can do that outwardly, but internally it's more difficult. Aw. Love to you. And thanks for that.
Thank you. $20. Oh my God! It's today our anniversary. Okay, I was going back and looking, and
No, it's March. It's March.
It's March 12th, I thought, right?
It's March. It's March. Don't scare us like that.
We need to verify that that's true. I don't know how.
It's March. No, it is. It is, because in February I was still not. Yeah, I figured this out because I was scared at it. It's definitely March. I think you and I had our first conversation in February. So
in February?
Yeah.
See, people in the chat are saying it's February. I don't know. We have
It was
to confirm.
announced in February.
Okay, there we go.
Announced in February.
Guys.
Thank you, Morgan.
$20 from... Wait, is this me?
Yes.
$20 from Becky Sparks. Brian hurt my brain. I'm 52, was Republican at 18, and moved steadily to the left over time. Now I'm mad at the Dems for being so right-wing. Yes, exactly.
Right.
Precisely. Thank you.
Yeah, that was the other thing too, is it's like he was not ready for any type of nuanced conversation at all. But also the way the parties have changed over time too is important to talk about, like in that conversation. But that was not going to happen. $10 from the Raven 200. Streetlights bend into the void, cars enveloped into the darkness, deeper than a blind man's sleep, soon to paint the world. Everything went black by the Black Dahlia murder. R.I.P. Trevor Starnad?
I used to love
Is
the
that going on the
Black Dahlia
playlist?
murder. It can. We'll save it for the next one. It might just be a good song suggestion.
I'll take the tune.
$4.99 from Rainku. Promise, how dare you steal some poor little girl's giant stack of Jesus notebooks just for social media clout? Shame on you. For those of you that don't know, I made a video today. It's on my Instagram. I found a bunch of my old journals while I was like going through some stuff, and they were there. And I was like, oh my God, I should just shame myself and read some of these to everybody. And so I shared some of my Christian journals. And the amount of people that were not believing, they're like, this isn't you. You didn't actually, you just made this up. And then I went back with receipts and I showed them the journals, like where I had written my name and everything.
It's so stupid. $5 from Unstillborn. Love the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
$10 from the Raven 200. Correction to my previous super chat. Streetlights bend into the void, cars enveloped whole, darkness deeper than a blind man's sleep, soon to paint the world. I seriously hate autocorrect. Thanks, the Raven 200.
Gets the best of us. $5 from Jamnik06. Bang, bang. Margan's gold band hammer came down on his head. Bang, bang. Margan, okay, what's that? Unable to call in again. Oh. What is this from?
I don't know.
Beatles song.
Oh.
What is it?
You should know that. Beatles.
Oh! Okay. I'm not like a huge Beatles person. I'm like the hits person. So, and that's probably a hit. And I don't know it. I'm so sorry. I will take that in shame and find out what that is later. Thank you.
$5 from the Raven 200. Brian is the type of guy to scream in your face, then cry like a baby when you firmly tell him to back off. Yep. That's pretty much what happened.
I just opened Instagram and my friend got engaged. Ah! Okay, sorry.
Aww,
I need to address that later.
Friend.
That's so exciting. Okay. £5 from Jessica. That's fun. As a British person, I'm partly offended. Listen. And amused by the terrible British accent. It started okay and then you lost it very fast. Listen. I never claimed to be good at a British accent. I never asked to do a British accent. I unfortunately was dealt a hand of reading in a British accent.
You did great with that hand.
I would like to publicly apologize to the entire
the British
United Kingdom. Yeah.
$5 from Moira Bannister. Playlist. Jesus Don't Love Me. No one ever carried my load. I'm too young to feel this old. Cold Desert Kings of Leon. Guys, are we just starting a massive playlist? Because now I feel like we're getting into not plain territory. Now we're getting into like playlist territory. And
yeah.
I'm here for it. I love it. Thanks, Moira.
$5 from the Raven 200. To answer your question, Alyssa, yes, Everything Went Black is going on a playlist. It's in my death metal playlist. I still miss Trevor Sternad. R.I.P. That's an interesting spelling.
$10 from Space Barbarian. I dedicate this super chat to Brandon, whatever his name was. Life hack. The flat earth model works good enough on a basketball court. Not so much for anything else. Yes.
€5 from Mick Captain. Planes Going Down, Pop On Just That Good by Aiko Daumi. It's a bop, and I'll die supporting a trans artist. Love you guys. That's
Love
great.
that.
We could add that to the playlist. That's awesome.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for dealing with my voice doing weird things. Now I feel funky, so that's exciting for me.
Yeah, you need to rest. And if you can, grab a flu test, a rapid flu test.
That's
at
what I'm
the
going
pharmacy.
to go drive to do right now.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
like I'm looking not great.
A little
like it's
puffy.
happening. It's happening right now.
It's happening before our eyes right now.
It's happening. I'm going to blame Brian on my immune system deteriorating more quickly.
It's all that anger and depression.
Ridiculous. I got so angry in that moment that now I'm sick. Oh man,
Yeah.
I love you all. Alyssa, you're the best. Morgan is the best producer.
You.
I love all of you in the chat. Thank you guys. I don't know if you've noticed,
you
I try to be in the
guys.
chat a little bit more now that I have an iPad.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, girl. She's an iPad kid now.
Yeah, I am.